Right, have I got sound? Yay! Sorry about that, lads. It's one of the joys of going live, isn't it? God, that was a bit epic, to be honest. Talk about no pressure. Right, if anyone has got a CB radio related problem, excluding the regulars here or including the regulars, just ask away. Between me and these guys, we should be able to get you going. Right. People are coming in. Yeah, I can't apologise enough for that. I've got no doubt it won't be the first. Sorry, it won't be the last time. Can't even get my webcam set up properly. How crazy is that? It's probably going to fall off the top now. How are you all? Has anyone bought any new kit? So who we got in here? Got Eddie's mum, hi. Ben Speed, hi. Rob Bunyan, hi. George Donaldson, welcome aboard. Nice chatting to you earlier, by the way. Dipsy, Part the Furniture, how you doing, mate? Nick Williams, hi. Stefan, hi. Del Boy, and everyone else. How you all doing? I think I've caught everyone. Yeah, Dino's thinking of buying a Superstar 3900. I think I spoke to you about that, Dino. Lizard Lick. Yeah, I like that. I used to watch a program called Lizard Lick. For the I think they used to recover vehicles. So Dino, what have you hit the buy it now button, or are you still thinking on it? Jeffrey Rankin, keep up the good show from 68 division. Hi Jeffrey, hope you're well over there. Rob Bunyan says he needs to go and buy some new stuff. Dino says he's saving a little bit more. So from what I gather, Dino just likes the older looking rigs. The new 3900, I suppose they've cheapened the product a little bit. Because back in the day, I'm sure you used to have 6 bands, didn't you? You know, A, B, C, D, E, F, or whatever it was. Yeah, George Donaldson. I've got, if you're referring to the 3900, I've had a few, probably, I don't know, in the last 5-6 years, probably 4 or 5. Hi, Jason. Romeo 2 Romeo Tango 431. Hi, mate. Swady boy is looking for a legal 11 metre sideband radio. What's the choices? Well, there ain't a great deal out there. If you're in the UK, you've got the President McKinley, the Grant 2. And I think the Grant 2 Plus is legal unless you sort of expand it. Come on, lads. Here's a chance to show your worth. Anyone recommend a legal rig to Swady boy? I suppose really it depends on what you want from a rig. The newer stuff, I don't think quite cuts it against, you know, like some of the old time, which I call a great, the Cobra 148 GTL-DX, Superstar 360 FM. You get a decent mic on one of them. Even on FM, they sounded really good. Or the Mark 1 President Lincoln, or the Mark I President Jackson. I've had all of them. Old Bast, I think that's Alan. Hi mate, you made it this week. You didn't forget. All's well with you. Not long back from the Burton Dassett Hills. Yeah, Al Bast, is that going to be on video, mate, or is it just like a leisurely trip up there? Gary Seed says, hi Steve, how you keeping? Charlie Tango 3109. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, Gary. Albar says, should be all about the radio. Stefan's getting some very good reports in his McKinley. I can't see no reason why not. And I have said it before. I've had the McKinley, as you all know, expanded it myself, as most of you all know. It was all right. It didn't, I don't know, what's the word? It was a good rig. I can't knock it really in any way, but I just prefer other rigs over the McKinley. Dipsy was talking about loose women just moaning about their lives. A bit like us lot in here, isn't it, really? Well, no, we're not women, but... Yeah, Dino's hit on a point. A lot of people are going up the hills, doing their thing on the rig. Now, I have heard some people being approached by the police saying, what you're doing out here, you're breaking lockdown rules, go home. Yet others have been approached by the police and they've been asked what they're doing, and they said, I needed to get out of the house, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, crack on. So I don't think any of us really know what that is about, really. Yeah, Albar said he had the police next to him today and all was fine. This is it, you know. Dipsy's laughing. Yeah, loose man. Yeah, I don't know what went wrong with me sound earlier, and from what I can gather, I think I'm using the sound now from the webcam. Is the sound any different to what I normally sound like? You know, maybe you lot can help me out here a bit. Stefan's asking about the FM deviation on the McKinley. It's set about 1.5 to 2 kilohertz bandwidth. Did you increase yours on the McKinley? No, I didn't. I don't really like using FM a lot. Darren says you sound normal, and George Donaldson says it's louder. I'm not gonna touch anything because I've got the webcam and the Zoom H1, and I've had enough messing about. I have heard the McKinley, Stefan, by the way, because the guy I sold it to is my mate. He bought it new. I think he had it 2 days. I had it. While I had it, I expanded it. Now he's got it back, and I've heard it on FM. Sounds okay. Yeah, as Delboy says, be careful with the small pots. The thing is, lads, most of you will know this. If you don't really know what you're doing and you've not got the test equipment, once you start messing about inside your rig, you might get away with it once, And then one day you might think, oh, I've seen a video on how to do this, and then you're messing about with something else. Now, unless you're very careful, you can end up with a rig that's way out of tune, or even blow it up, you know. So loud. Okay, Swadey boy. Mikey Smith, evening, mate. We've got 23 people in here at the moment. I should imagine a lot of them packed their bags and went home. Mikey Smith says, yeah, 10-4. Yeah, phone's going crazy. You got me for about an hour tonight, so I should be on until about 8 o'clock. The alarm or the ice cream van thing will go off. Now, a lot of you guys always like hearing about the old days, right? Now, one of these stories I'm going to tell you, I may already have told. This is going back to the AM days. This will be sort of 1981, maybe 1982. I spoke to a guy one night and I said to him, "Oh, blimey, you're booming out today. Your signal's so much better than normal." And he said, yeah. He said, "I've got myself a K40 and it's mounted on my dustbin." Because back then we all had metal dustbins, didn't we? A few days later, spoke to him again. His signal was back to normal. And I happened to say to him, "Well, what you done? You know, you're not as strong as what you was." And he said, "Yeah, someone's pinched my K40. The one in his back garden nicked his aerial. So it's back on, I don't know, something like a DV27. And then there was another hoo-ha years ago, a local guy. Now, he was one of them blokes. I don't know if anyone else can relate. Everything was a 10 code. He was an English guy, but he tried speaking like an American. He was like the old good buddy, 10-4, you know, and all that. He was a nice bloke, and he was part of the furniture. Well, he lived in a bungalow. And he'd just put himself up. I don't know what it was. It would have been something like a Silver Rod or a GP or something like that. Anyway, there was a bit of a buzz going on in the on the grapevine on the rig. And what had happened, he came home one day and his aerial had gone off the roof. He spoke to his neighbour and said, "Did you see anything?" And his neighbour said, "Well, there was two blokes round here with high-vis jackets on earlier taking it down." He said, "I thought that you'd paid them to come round to do it." So, yeah, in the old days, it was a good old, bad old days. You had to be quite careful who you told about what you had and where you had it. Dipsy said, "Sad news about the fisherman from Brixham." Oh, I did see a bit about that. I know they found one clinging to a buoy, didn't they? Yeah, that's terrible. That. Anyone else got a story back from the day, something that might have happened that you don't tend to experience nowadays? I got ripped off once as well. There was a guy selling a high gain 3. Anyone out there want to buy high gain 3? I'd never heard this bloke before, and he was selling it dirt cheap. And I used to buy and sell back then. So I fell for it, hook, line and sinker. So I arranged to meet this guy, a 5-minute walk from the house. Went there, got handed over the rig, gave him the money. When I got home, it didn't work. He obviously had 2 of them. Ray Bunyan said the customs and excise took mine. Yeah, there was a lot of things going on back in the day. I've got to get the name of this, I always get mixed up. The Jackson, the early black one. I got one off of my mate. It had the box with it and everything. No, I only had it about a week. And then some other guy says, "That's my rig, that is." I'm like, "Well, how'd you pan that out?" Because I bought it off a mate who bought it off someone else. And what it was, this guy had imported a rig, and on the parcel tracking, apparently it was picked up at the local post office. Now, obviously, the rig I had was nothing to do with him whatsoever, but he was just a bit of a knob, for want of better words. He got his money back anyway in the end. Anyone else ever been busted or anything like that? Because that wasn't uncommon, was it? I used to listen to a gang of lads, and they were older fellas, probably my age now, bearing in mind at the time I was only probably 20 something. These three old boys would sit not far away from the 555, and every morning they would be there, regular as clockwork, and they would all be chatting. Never swore, they were always a nice bunch of lads, if you like. And then one day, I happened to say to someone else along them same sort of frequencies, I ain't heard them three old boys for a while. And he said, oh, ain't you heard? He said, they all got busted on the same morning. What they did, they knocked on the doors simultaneously, and they all got, I don't know what fine they got, but all their equipment got taken. Yeah, Ben Speed, I'm not going to repeat that, but yeah, that's a funny one. I know a guy got ripped off in a similar way. He went into London, was approached by these two lads. He was a foreign guy, I think he was Polish, and these two local lads said, can I interest you in buying a laptop? And the bloke's going, oh, I haven't really got the money. Anyway, he pulled out this laptop, and it was the latest whiz bang laptop, and I don't know what they charged him for it, but it was that cheap that this guy thought, I'm going to the cash point, I'm getting the money out, and I'm buying it. So he bought this thing, right? Now, this guy I'm telling you about, he was built like a barn door. He was like a bodybuilder. And he even said to these two lads, you're not going to rip me off, are you? And they go, no, I won't mess with someone your size. He handed over the money, took this laptop in this little case. Him and his girlfriend went and sat down, opened it, and there were some books in there. There's no laptop at all. When they looked around, these two lads had gone. So, yeah, you do have to be a little bit careful. Ben Speed's asking what bike it is. It's a BSA something or other. I couldn't actually tell you. It just happens to be on my t-shirt. I never had a big bike. I've had loads of bikes in my day, but mainly small stuff, unfortunately. My mate did buy a Triumph Bonneville, which was basically a barn find, and he completely stripped it down. He had the back end chopped off and hard-tailed, the front end chopped and raked out. He had the girder forks on it. Everything was completely done, chromed, polished aluminium. And unfortunately, before he actually got it road legal, he fell on hard times and had to sell it. But it was a beautiful looking bit of machinery. Dino's talking about mobile phones. It's funny with us lot, we're all into CB or amateur radio or PMR radios, but a lot of us had them scanners. Yeah, I had one of them. An eye opener. I'm not even going to repeat. What it was. I can't sit there all night, Ben Speed, but I will give you a better look. It's obviously, let's have a look at the seat, yeah. Yeah, my dad used to be a dispatch rider in the army, and obviously he rode a lot. And as I was a young man, I wanted to get a bike because back in my day, and a lot of you lads, you used to be able to ride a 250. And my dream bike back in my day was the KH 250, 3-cylinder, 2-stroke. Never did get one. I did have the Suzuki 250 Hustler. Not on the road, unfortunately. I got it in a real cracking deal. Got it running and then sold it. Mike Scott says he remembers listening to my neighbour's cordless phone on my scanner in the USA. Well, over here in the UK, I think it's on some of them older ones you can, round about the 30 megs. I don't know, maybe someone might be able to help me out here a little bit. Yeah, police have all gone digital now, haven't they? Ben Speed, yeah, the KH triple, nice. I'll tell you what I had. Now don't laugh, it was quite a boring bike, but it was brand new and I was absolutely made up with it. I had I think it was a Yamaha YB100, right? And I did all sorts to it. I seized it up solid, doing 73 mile an hour. I was on the tank like this, going down this hill in the dark, and the engine seized. Well, on that bike, when the engine stopped, the lights went out. So there I am in pitch black darkness. I thought, this is it. This is the time I turn into a road rash, but I managed to get the clutch in time, rolled to a stop, pushed it for ages. It's funny this, really. I must have pushed it for 5 miles along this dual carriageway. I got that knackered at the stop. So I sat on the bike, rolled myself up a fag, and I thought, I don't know, I'll just see if it will start, thinking it wouldn't. Bugger me if I didn't kick it over and it fired up. So it got me nearly home, and then it stopped again, but it didn't seize up. It just sort of went no compression. I burnt a big hole in the top of the piston. New piston in it, new rings, and all the rest of it. Did that. Something else went wrong with it then, I can't remember. And I had to send it off for new main bearings. Got the new main bearings put in it. About a week later, the gearbox went. So my dad said, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it to a shop and buy you a bike. And I came out with a Honda CD 200, a Bentley it was called. Nice enough bike, you know, I loved it. I think that thing would do about 80 downhill with a wind behind it, but you know, it was a new bike. Yeah, George is saying about heat seized. Yeah, George, I was only young. And when you're young, if that bike would have done 150 mile an hour, you can trust me, I'd have been doing 150 mile an hour that day. But Touchwood said his first bike was a Tiger Cub. Touchwood, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Because the Tiger Cubs, you're going back a while now, aren't you? CD 175. Is that the single carb engine? Because the CB had a twin carbs, I believe. George Donaldson had an RD125. They used to fly them things, didn't they? They were everyone's what they wanted. I think they did an RD125, RD250, and a 350, didn't they? Colin Guntrip is asking, how much of a job is it to put new coax on a mag mount? Yeah, Colin, it depends what mag mount it is. If it's something like a Sirio, dead easy. Undo 4 screws, turn it over, desolder at the 2 points, pull it out, put your new bit in, solder it, Bosch. What sort of mag mount is it, Colin? I'll tell you what I did add. I had a Suzuki GT 185, and it's by getting that I was able to get on CB. So my mate sold me it for 40 quid, right? It was road legal. It was a bit of an old dog. But as soon as we'd done the deal, I knew where that bike was going. I went straight round my mate Mark's house on the bike, and I said, Mark, do you want to swap this motorbike for your CB? He said, yeah. Well, what's the catch? Is it nicked or something? I said, no, I've got a logbook and the MOT in my pocket. We'd done that deal, and that's how I was able to get on rig. Eddie Bond. I think it was you that missed last week and the week before. You're welcome aboard, Eddie, mate. I think that was you. Ben Speed's asking if I ever put a CB on a bike. No, I never bothered with none of that. I used to ride around on my bike with a Harvard 410T, if anyone can remember them, chatting away. We used to have a guy in Luton. He used to say he was mobile, right? And I had no really idea otherwise until someone told me what he'd done. He'd got himself a sack barrow. He had a truck battery on it, a DV27 mounted at the top, and I think he'd sellotaped his rig to the top, but it worked, you know. Yeah, well, you've managed it this time, Eddie. You probably missed out. I started the stream tonight and I had no sound. So to end that stream, restarted it, still no sound. This is the third attempt, but yeah, I'm here now. Lizard Lick says, are you doing any more videos of you out and about on the rig in your car? Yes, of course I am. Most definitely. But we're in lockdown, and to be honest, I've tended to be quite strict with myself because of my age, because of my asthma, and I'm not exactly the healthiest person that ever lived on the planet. I'm keeping myself out of it, but soon as I can, yeah, I'll be sticking the rig in the motor with a camera. Colin Guntrip says the mag is a K40. I can't even remember what the base of a K40 mag mount looks like. Can anyone else help Colin out? He needs to change the coax. Ben Speed took someone home that was drunk on a sack barrow. Yeah, fair enough. You got to be pretty trolley, didn't you, for that sort of thing? A guy I know, he would drink and drink and drink, and when you're talking to him, he would be swaying like this. I won't say what his name was, but I used to put it away. One night, you remember us leaving the pub. The next thing you know, he woke up in hospital about 3 o'clock in the morning. He'd passed out, and an ambulance had come and took him away. And he woke up and he thought, oh, God, how did I end up here? Obviously, he didn't feel too good at all. Couldn't find his clothes or his shoes. So he got out of bed, wrapped, because he was naked as well, wrapped the sheet around him and run all the way home. Oh, my God, I've been in a state, but never been that bad. Yeah, back in the day, this is to Darren Howell. It didn't matter, did it, back then? He's saying that someone put their rig on a rally shopper. There was a bloke lived around the corner from me, and he did a similar thing. He had an alarm battery, 12-volt thing, in a shoulder bag, and just a piece of wire. I mean, you know, far from ideal, but just so he could say he was mobile. Leader Brewer says, what's the best mobile twig, ideally a mag mount? Well, I would say the Serio Megawatt 4000. Others are going to have another opinion, of course. Of Lee, most or 99% of my DX contacts were made using the Megawatt, and it was mag mounted. I'm currently using a President Texas, which is very, very slightly better, so I'm told. But there's a multitude of a lot of people nowadays are using the modulator. I mean, they're back from the day then. I had the original modulator, probably, I don't know how many, let's call it 2. But I've also had the super modulator, which has got the coil at the base and then like a center load as well. Dino says he's made a longer Springer whip on its original Springer. Dino, what did you actually do to it? Bill 53. Hi, Bill. Just seen your message there. Hi, mate. George says he has an original Les Wallen modulator. I can't remember who made modulators, to be honest. Darren Barwick says in the early 80s, him and his friends used to climb the tallest tree that they could find with a Harvard 40-channel handset. That would have probably been the Harvard 410T to see how far they could go. Yeah, we're all mad on it then, weren't we? Absolutely balmy on it. Yeah, Darren says he's got a Midland Porter Pack on his mobility scooter. Yeah, they're all right. I've had them. Les Wallen made them. This is from Colin, Wiltshire. I never knew. I just used to get them. I used to buy and sell CB stuff, you know. Del Boy's still using his half-breed. You know, half-breeds, dialer matches and all that sort of stuff. They were bread and butter, weren't they, back in the day, Del Boy? Have you never had a lot of modern aerial, or do you not go mobile much, or what? That's to Del Boy. Dino saying he made the aerial longer. What did that achieve, Dino? Did it not tune in the original whip, or do you go below the mid block, hence the longer aerial? Yeah, Darren says you could connect those Harvard handsets to home base antenna. Yeah, definitely. SPNS Mike 2 having problems with Meantron 99 high noise level. Well, we'll just call you Mike. What have you actually done to try and rectify that? Have you had the aerial up years and it suddenly started receiving noise, or is it a brand new aerial, new coax, and you've put it up? Oiled field audio king. I remember an aerial that had an oiled field coil, but I couldn't remember what it was, Colin. Yeah, Dino, fair play to you, mate, if it works. I've got to be honest, I've never had a Springer. They've never appealed to me at all. I've always gone down the other routes, the going back to the Stereo Megawatt 3000, things like fire sticks, modulators, K40s, etc. I've just never fancied an aerial that does that. I don't know. Jason Dawes said the first person he spoke to was a woman called Pushy Talk and thought, this is ace, got to get myself one. Yeah. I'm sure we all had some very interesting conversations over the rig with the lady breakers back in the day. Del Boy uses a 7-foot fire stick when he's parked up. I never had a 7-footer, Del Boy. I had the smaller ones. I think I had up to about a 5-foot. Now, Mike, over 10 years, is this the Antron that you're referring to now? It's a job for me to keep up, to be fair. Bill 53, had a good lady breaker back in the old days. She's now my wife. Yeah, fair play to you, mate. Al Bass got a 7-foot whip and a springer, no difference between the two of them. What is a 7-foot whip, Al Bass? That's like quite an odd size, isn't it? Is that like a straight whip? Because they're not. The quarter wave's normally about 9 feet long, aren't they? Ish. I've never had a grandstand home base. I did see them. Colin Guntrip, has anyone ever tried 2 cans and a piece of string? Yes, I did as a young lad. It does sort of work. Okay, Al Boss, just a straight whip. Dino's got a plate that he drives on with a half-wave silver rod. My own experience is sitting on top of a hill. This is going back when I first got the Megawatt 4000. I don't know how many years ago that was. I went up Dunstable Downs. It's about 750 foot above sea level. I got put out a CQ call on sideband, got talking to a guy in London. And I said, right, hang on, do you mind? I just want to swap over aerials. And I put the quarter wave on and asked for another check. And he says, no difference whatsoever. And I theoretically, the big quarter wave should be, I don't think it can be beaten, but between that and the Megawatt 4000, there was nobody I spoke to could tell any difference. So I always stuck with a Megawatt and sold the quarter wave whip. And the quarter wave whip on the big Stereo mag mount, the one I had, even if you drove across the car park with a 9-foot whip on it, you could hear the mag mount creaking on the roof. You know, you wouldn't even dream of driving it. I don't even know if a triple magnet would have done that. Anna X, good evening. I know some people go to big lamps. Me and my mate, we had a pipe dream years ago because we were right into our DX, and I'll probably lose my trail of thought here, but getting back to the modulator, me and my mate one day, we went up the perch in Wendover, and to get away from all the noise, we tried the alpha channels with not a lot of success. We ended up on channel 1, super low, right? This is my timer. I'll completely ignore that because wasted the first 10 minutes trying to get sound. Anyway, there he was, channel 1, super low, upper sideband, calling out. Now, I was quite all right with the DXing thing and using the Q code, whereas my mate weren't really quite comfortable with it. So I said to my mate, Gary, come on, Gary, put a call out. I'm going to roll myself a fag. Yeah, Darren, time goes past too quick. Tell me about it. I hope my life don't go past. If I put the rest of my life on live stream, I reckon I'd be dead by the morning. Old age. Anyway, my mate starts giving it some. This is 2-6. God, what was his call sign? 2-6 Golf Delta 1-4. I just had to think of his name, his first and second name, and he was calling out, giving it the big one. Colin says Dunstable Downs is 797 foot ASL. I thought it was about 750. I might be mistaking it with Ivanhoe Beacon. But anyway, we weren't there. We were up the perch at the time. And mate, let's go to the mic. And this American woman on the skip, she's coming through, you know, CQ, this is, I can't remember her name, call sign, whatever. But basically, she was American. And I looked around at my mate, and he's like, what do I do? I said, go back to her. And he shoved the mic in my hand. So I went, oh, this is 2-6, you know, blah, blah, blah. Got chatting to this American woman. We was on a modulator, and I can't remember if it was the normal one or the super modulator. We had 2 car batteries in a plastic box, a bit like a milk crate, and a B300P that we always used to run flat out. Goes back to this American woman, and she had a phone call from a neighbour who had been desperately trying to get us, but we couldn't hear him. So he rang the neighbour, which was this woman. She called us. We spoke to her, and she basically relayed messages from one of her neighbours to us. So we had like a 3-way, but one of the guys who couldn't hear. So yeah, the modulator definitely works. Bill 53, yeah, fair play. It's a good handle, that. Mike 2, any suggestions for a 5/8 wave? God, there's a lot out there at the minute. The 827 is very popular. You got the Sirio Game Master 5/8. The Sirio 2008, which I've got, and I've got to be honest, it's mine, but I always say the things the way I see it. It's quite flimsily made, I think. You could go for a 5/8 wave silver rod, or the Sirio 2016, I think it is now. They don't know how many legs to put on these antennas. Here's one for you all. I don't actually know the answer to this. The Antron 99, right, it's the same size as a half wave. I remember back in the day, people were saying electrically it wasn't, it was something else, I don't know. But then you've got the IMAX 2000. I presume that's a 5/8 wave. I mean, I've had a couple of them, 24 foot long, good enough aerial, I liked it. Sources for courses with aerials, whatever you can afford. If you get an aerial that's not quite the highest gain aerial that you really wanted, you can stick it up another 10 feet and sort of, you know, overcome that. And this is where antenna gain gets a little bit, where the theory really goes out the window. Let's just say you've got, I don't know, let's call it a DV27, and let's just say the claimed gain on it is 3 dB, and you sit there and you try and talk to someone 10 mile away and they can't hear you. If you go up the local hill 700-800 foot above sea level, you can bet your bottom dollar he'll hear you on that aerial. So antenna gain, really, I think it's just like a baseline, but what you do with that antenna after is purely down to you. Height is might. Yeah, exactly. Touchwood. When I lived in Luton first time round, this was when I first started CB back in Luton. I was fortunate, I had a big garden, I could put up what I liked. My aerials used to be 30 foot or above to the base. I worked some good DX at that. Dipsy, I don't know the answer to that, but common sense should prevail. Let's just say that. Rob Bunyan says, what about if you live at sea level? Just get the aerial as high as you can, but, use your common sense. Dino says it depends on your neighbours and your council. Yes, it's exactly that. If you get on well with your neighbours, odds are, no one's going to question what you're doing. So in answer to Rob Bunyan's question, about 30 foot. I don't know if anyone wants to start talking about angles of radiation. Anna X says in Italy there's no limit. Well, back in the day on 555, Italians were always hammering in to the UK, hammering in. You'd quite often hear the Italians saying they're running a kilowatt, 1500 watts, whatever. Touchwood says his house is 1,000 foot ASL on a 30 foot pump up mast. Nice. I should better hear you from here, wherever you are. Yeah, Albars was saying exactly that. Alan, I'm sure your name is. If your neighbours are all right, you'll be all right. HGV drivers here use a minimum of 4 kilowatt. Now that I would like to see, to be fair. Yeah, it is, Alan. I thought so. I've heard that before, Del Boy. A friend of mine up in Bedford had a similar issue with, can I put it up? Can't I put it up? And she went round the proper route. A guy came round and looked at it, and he said, "How long have you had it up there?" She said, "About 5 years, untouchable." Michael Stevens says, is it worth trying to do the amateur radio license? I would say yes, definitely. Grantley Basham 1980s, the good old days. I want them back. Yeah, it's gone now, isn't it? We can reminisce on here or wherever, but life's what you make it, isn't it? You know, if you get on the rig and there's a good bunch of lads local, you know, you can have the crack. You can still play battleships. You can still do your fox hunts, you know, but it's never going to be that them early magical days, because none of us had a mobile phone, did we? And the thought of actually being able to talk to someone just by picking a mic up and make a free call, that I think was part of the draw, wasn't it? Leader Brewer, tips on stopping TVI. Well, I don't know, maybe someone else might comment on that, but all I can say from my experience, I've not got a home base now, but I had one for years when I lived in Luton and at times when I was in Bedford. Delboy says turn the TV off. What worked for me was to get my aerial away from the house. If you've got an aerial on your house, it's also going to be close to your neighbours, particularly if you're running an amp. No matter how clean a signal you try and get out, it becomes like a saturated situation where virtually no matter what you do, if your neighbour's got a weak TV signal, faulty coax, anything like that, move your antenna further away from whatever it is that you're interfering with. You can get your filters and all the rest of it. Stephen Gunrunner Hanson. Hi, Steve. I've never seen you in my stream before. How are you, mate? Hope all's well over your way. Steve's a pirate. Yeah, fair play to you, mate. Colin Guntrip. Yeah, fair enough. I think he's referring to the amount of likes that have been given. If you like this, you're enjoying it, hit like. It helps the video, it helps me, and it will probably help my channel as well. Edward Snowden misses his Uniden rig. I've got one just here. It's the smaller. Is it the 340? Stefan says, once a pirate, always a pirate. Stephen Gunrunner Hanson, still here and happy doing his hobby. Yeah, fair play to you, mate. I mean, most of you probably know I did the amateur thing, had a lot of enjoyment, met some very clever people who helped me immensely, let's say. I took a lot of knowledge from them people. Edward also remembers a teardrop. Quite like gold dust now, Edward. Cost you an absolute arm and a leg. But yeah, brilliant, Mike. I've had a few in my day. Just going to top my pipe up here. Edward says the Amstrad 901 was a good back in the day. I've got an Amstrad 901 in my cupboard. I need to do a bit of work on it. Someone's message is held for a review. I don't know what you might have said there. I have no control over what gets withheld. Oh, it's a link. Yeah, don't let you put links in here, mate. I'd be spammed to death, wouldn't I, with everyone putting their channel up. Yeah, George, I did notice that you've got one of these. Is yours one of them where you? Is it like a real cloud thing? Yeah, I've had a couple of them. God, I can't even remember what the thing was called. It used to upset the other half. I remember one day I was driving home, my sister George, and anyone else who wants to listen. Oh, it's annoying me. I can't think the name of it. Anyway, the whole pipe was white. I'm sat in my car and I've just got out of work. You couldn't smoke at work. I had nicotine withdrawals. I got hold of my pipe. I blew it out and I'm like, I can't even see where I'm going. I had to undo the window. And X said, we'll put it on Facebook. Yeah, fair play to you, mate. Steady Eddie said he's got a home base set up and mobile and says it's so sad that CB is quiet in his area. Yeah, Eddie, have you got anyone to talk to in your area? If you have, just get on there, start chatting at regular times. Activity creates activity. Edward said he had fun with the linear amp. Makes you boom out. I've obviously missed something here. Yeah, Edward Snowden. Pleased to hear while working a night shift in the data centre. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, likewise, Edward. Thanks for turning up. Appreciate it. Edward, Google. I'm going to have to write this down because I have got head like a sieve. If I can find my notepad, I did have it here. Now, this is to Ben Speech channel. It says Google Edward Snowden. Who is he? Edward, if you're someone famous and I don't know who you are, I just have to apologise. I don't know who you are, mate. That's it. If you are the oh, I see. Yeah, gotcha. Adrian Hobby, evening. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Oh, I think I know. Yes, I do. Whoever you are, Edward, you're welcome here anyway. Del Boy's the way to watch something on TV. Cheers for turning up, Del Boy. And apologies for the disaster when I first started with the sound. Swadey Boy, got to sign off. See you Wednesday, Steve. Yeah. Thanks for turning up, Swadey Boy. Rob Bunyan, 10:10 till we do it again. I'm going to have to start wrapping this up because it's gone way over the planned time. Now, if any of you a little bit later on tonight, might even be early hours of the morning, I might start another stream and I'm going to try this new bit of software I've got. Oh, sorry to hear that, Steady Eddie. I don't know what to say, but just I'm sorry that that's happened to you, mate. I hope that you're holding it together okay. Yeah, 73, Steve. Catch you again. I'll do this every Wednesday, every Sunday, from 7 p.m. Yeah, catch you later, Dipsy. 73, Stefan. George Donaldson. Yeah, 73's, mate. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up by saying when I come back, I'm going to be trying out OBS. I'm going to, because what I want to show you guys is some of me in my early days in some pictures when I used to race and different things that I've done throughout my life. I'm going to get them scanned onto the PC, and hopefully with the aid of OBS, I can show them, but it will just be a test of the software. So if you watch it and it gets deleted, it's because I'm hoping to use it in my streams regularly. Touchwood, 73's from the hill. Yeah, cheers for turning up, mate. So yeah, that's what that's all about. I'm no expert on OBS, but I'm going to give it a go. So until next time, which might be in a couple of hours' time, you all stay safe. Thanks for turning up. And if you get any questions that you can think of maybe for next time, or suggestions, something that we can all talk about as a group, that would be good. Albast, 73's, mate. Right, I'm hitting a big switch. Catch you all very soon, maybe even later on tonight or early morning. This is Charlie Tango 318 signing out. Cheers, boys.